There you go, we're recording. So welcome everyone to the CHRISTWVRKS podcast. You might notice that it is not Jamie recording the podcast today. It's myself, Matt. I run things behind the scenes for CHRISTWVRKS with Jamie himself. Today we are joined by, and I hope I get it right, Kshitiz Moktan from the band Chepang, Nepalese New York Immigrind core sensations, if I may be so bold as to claim. Man, how are you? How is it going? What is life like under quarantine as a member of the world's foremost Immigrind core outfit?
Yeah, thanks for doing this. People I think know me as more with my nickname, Grandmaster Bude. It's Grandmaster for the Master of Shaolin, and Bude means in Nepali the fat guy with a big stomach. But yeah, I mean during this quarantine, I think for me in general, like everything is being like routine based. My life was really not routine when before the COVID, the whole coronavirus thing. Now it's routine. You wake up, you do your stuff, you do exercise, you go to work. I work remote anyways. Then you do, it's a cycle. You forget what day you are in. So it's like routine stuff. Before it was not, right? Because you were hanging out, you're going there, this, that. You had plans. Right now you're at home doing the same thing again and again and again and again. It's been actually, I would say it's been helpful for me because I was getting a lot of weight. So I have cut down on that. I'm eating good because I'm eating inside. I'm not going out and eating. So for some reason, it's more positive for me. I know there's a lot of things going outside. Thank God I don't have anything within my family. So yeah.
Excellent, man. Yeah, I've got to say, like the first week, I just treated it like a holiday. I was playing video games until 3-4 in the morning and eating pizza, chocolate, and sweets. And it took me a little while to realize that I was slowly killing myself by doing that. So I need to start looking after myself. But we're back to like my day job opens properly on Monday. Things are back, like opening up more and more. I don't know what if they should be yet. I'm not here to talk politics because I don't know the first thing about it. I know that I want my people to be healthy, and if they stay healthy and they're happy, then I'm happy. So
exactly,
And if everybody's wearing a mask, then I'm not going to get sneezed on by an old guy with coronavirus. So
correct. I think for me, everybody has to do their part, and I'm trying to do so as well. If I go outside, I'm wearing my mask. If I take my kids outside, I have 2 kids, we go outside with full mask, with gloves and all, no matter what, so that not only us, but we need to protect others, right? So that's basically it. I think New York State in general has been an example in the states. I know states is doing bad, but we have won over coronavirus than any other state. So hopefully we're all good.
So whereabouts in the New York area do you live?
So I live in a place called Elmhurst, New York, which is basically the borough of Queens, right?
Okay.
This was
where Spider-Man's from.
Yeah. This is where Nas, Nas the rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nas is from. He lives in Queensboro Bridge. Anyways, this was actually, if you talk about COVID, this was the hardest part where COVID hit, because we have a lot of general immigrants and regular job people out here. So a lot of people die. I just live like 1 block away from Elmhurst Hospital, the biggest hospital in my county, City, and it was wild. Like I could see the line out of the block. At one point they were actually bringing out the dead bodies to the curb to put in the small trucks because it couldn't fit in the hospital, so not the big trucks. So we were watching all over from my window. It was crazy. Like my mom was like, check this out, and I was like, wow.
It's like something out of a Terrorizer album cover.
Exactly, and a movie, right?
Yeah.
And a movie, right? The first day when we were told that we cannot go to office, one of my coworkers, he was driving through the car, and he took a video of people sitting in line at 6 a.m.
For the hospital.
Wow. Yeah, to do this test because it was breaking out pretty bad, and the line was off the charts. Like it's all the way down there, 2 blocks down, and they stood from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And because we didn't have enough tests, some of these people didn't get a chance.
It's crazy because when you get that many people in one place, especially at the
Yeah.
start of this whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
If even one out of that 100 was infected,
Yep.
they could have infected
Yeah.
another 20 or 30 or 40 more in the
Yeah,
line
and
to get the test.
and I realized like a couple of days before that I was not wearing any mask because I was like they didn't mandate it, and then we have a lot of Asian people around here. I guess they heard about this stuff and they were already wearing masks, and they were bringing kids with masks and all. I was like, should I wear it? Should I not wear it? Will I look odd? Kind of thing. Then all of a sudden, boom, that I still remember it was a Thursday. Work got shut down, and from there, like all hell broke loose.
Crazy. It's such a wild time to be releasing an album as well. Like
Exactly.
I do realize that the world hasn't stopped moving for a lot of people, the creative types especially.
Correct.
Like Jamie himself has felt like everyone else in the UK in his industry as a tattoo artist, like everything was shut down.
Ooh,
and there's that's like there's zero income coming in for these people, which not to like put anybody's job or life above anyone else's obviously, but the fact that he was on 1 week he had a full schedule of tattoo appointments, and next week he has nothing to do, no money coming in.
Did you guys get benefits from the government, like here, like they did like stimulus packages and stuff like that?
So I work in a record store over here, and our company was in one of the companies that was given, basically we were paid 80% of our normal wages. The government was paying that, but that was for companies that have registered staff, and they're probably getting kickbacks from it, like how the kind of things work. And for self-employed people like Jamie and other tattoo artists in other industries, they were made to wait a lot longer, and some of them aren't receiving any help at all. There doesn't seem to be like a standard or a golden standard for any of it, and it's almost treated on like a case by case basis.
Yeah, I think that is one of the things here in the States as well. The scenario in which this thing happened, they didn't plan for it. They don't have an agenda on how to handle those cases. People who work, pay taxes or whatnot. Obviously they're gonna get whatever package they. But the indie people who are like, independent, it was hard. I think a lot of people had a hard time. I don't know, some got it, some didn't get it. It was crazy. Hopefully the government realizes this, and then in the future they have a law or something where in Germany, I heard the best country for COVID or SARS coronavirus. In Germany, you have a really good package for indie artists.
Yes, they've been like putting money and like keeping money aside for their arts and entertainment industries, which
that's pretty progressive.
Yeah, we're stuck in over here again. Not to dip too much into politics and stuff, but we're under like a hard conservative government that only seems to be getting more and more conservative as we go along.
Yeah, there's a division. I'm afraid. It is what it is. It's we're turning into shit, I would say.
Like I said, a great time to drop one of the most fiery, condensing albums I've heard in a long time, and like it was the first time. Sorry, just for anyone who's not familiar, Chepang is yourself and how many other members in the band?
100 members. And actually, we have a real band-wise, like 2 drummers, 2 vocalists, me. That's 5, and now we have one more electronics, right? Crazy dude. So 6 in total. But then we have other friends helping out. I told you we call it the Gurkha Blast Commando team. So we have probably 100. I don't know.
It's just like very unique setup that really gives you guys the freedom to play the kind of music that you're playing. Correct. Like for anyone unfamiliar, like the first release, first full length, sorry, Dadelo. Is it Dadelo, A Tale of Wildfire?
Dadelo, A Tale of Wildfire. Dadelo means wildfire in Nepali. So.
Okay. I should have Googled that. Probably would have Google translated it, but I'm lazy, so you can tell me. It's fine. But so like that album came out, and I think I heard the first. I don't know who premiered the first single, but it was my first time hearing off Chepang. And whichever song it was, I think it was like 55 seconds long. It wasn't even an entire minute, but it's one of these records that, as a grindcore freak, I needed the whole album as soon as I heard that first 50 seconds.
Yeah.
And I started chasing people down. I found you through Facebook directly, and like we've been in touch ever since. And it's just been one of these like relationships that you pop up with new music every time, and it just makes my fucking day.
Yeah, and I just hit you up. Hey, dude, here's the new music. Can you fucking review, right? Yeah. Sorry to bother you all the time, man.
No, man, it's one of these, like, it's a good hassle. When people are hassling me to cover their music, and it's stuff that I really do give a shit about. It's a blessing rather than like, it's never been a job for me, doing like music journalism in the way I do for the last 8 years. And it's just one of these like great things that gives you the chance to connect with people from literally all across the planet.
And I think we value this journalism because a lot of people in the industry or so-called in this music, they say, here you go, another fucking journalist, another fucking review, like. But for me, as an artist, I care about that, I need to know, I need to understand what do you view, what do you see in my music, right? Do you even listen to it? What do you see? What do you hear? I like those, it gives me inspiration and motivation to keep on doing more, that's the thing. I like to, keep on moving ahead, I don't want to stop, So.
Yeah, can tell, especially considering you've not really taken a break from releases since Tadeo. There was the split with your Brazilian friends in Test.
Test.
And then the Barriga de Verme. I'm probably butchering all these, but
those are Portuguese, so I can't even pronounce it well. They call it I don't know, Barriga de Verme. I cannot even pronounce. It's Portuguese, so I'm sorry. I'm like you.
No, it's fine. We can let them translate for us afterwards. It's not a big deal. But like, that was obviously the more experimental side, and like the more, I don't like, it's one of these like catch-all terms I don't really like using, because all music really is experimental outside of your traditional verse chorus pop music and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But even like for myself in the last 6-7 years, I've gone to the point where even some of my favorite bands have become cookie cutter or paint by numbers in a lot of aspects. Even some of the more extreme bands that I like and love and have grown up with, I don't listen to them anymore, or I listen to the early stuff because I'm looking on Bandcamp every day for the small bands, the demos, the noise tapes, the compilations, and the splits.
My take on that is like, if you are like all these bands, whatever they're doing, they're great, or regardless of I like it or you don't like it or whatnot. But most of these bands are, they have a contract with the label, they have to release certain of number of records in certain years. So it's a cookie cutter, like you have to do it. You're bound by the contract. So you are not fully into it. You are not like independent, and, obviously to be independent, obviously you need resources, and so much of these bands don't have that resource to go record in a beautiful studio and spend like 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, whatever it is. So they have to take this approach, and this is when you fall into the trap, But I've realized now, I see that a lot of bands are going independent, and they're experimenting. If they have not, they're experimenting. For say, you just saw, I don't know if you realize, Full of Hell, right? You know that band.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They just released their last 2 records in one album, in a one vinyl, double vinyl, or whatever it is, independently. They sold out. They probably sold 2,000 records in like a year, a day or two. That shows the power of independent music and what they have. I think they're just testing the waters. For me, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, right? So it's
I think Full of Hell are probably the benchmark band for people looking to use the label system, and then also use that to benefit them when they want to be more experimental, or when they want to go aside and release their own things. Because as far as I know, both records were put out through Relapse, the last 2 records.
Yeah.
And although like Relapse is still one of the more like lauded underground metal labels, they are still one of the bigger labels, and they are still a label.
Yep.
But Full of Hell are using their like the Relapse model to, like, they've obviously built the fan base. You can't throw a stone at an internet metal forum without hitting somebody wearing a Full of Hell t-shirt.
Yeah. So, but again, like, I think they will at one point go to independent. They will be independent because now they are testing the waters. For me, that's a good thing. You know what I mean?
For sure, for
And
sure.
that's for us too, because we've been always independent. I know we have the label, our friend Aaron, who puts out our record, Nerve Altar, and Holy Goat, which is in Germany, but most of it has been independent. Like we pay for our own records. This time around for Chatta, we did 200 records. We paid for our own records. It's They did their thing, we did their thing, we did it collaboratively. You know what I mean? So it's more freedom, I would say.
Yes, it's the same model that we've been trying ourselves with CHRISTWVRKS, with Jamie
Yeah.
handling, with Jamie coming to me initially just to do PR, so write some press releases and stuff for him. And we'd only met maybe once or twice before. He tattooed me once. We met at a Frontier show, we're just chatting, and he asked me to come and run some stuff for him. And we decided that, like, we kind of laid out between us that all the stuff that we wanted to do by a year and then 5 years, and we're well on our way to reaching those kind of goals. And we want to do as much of it between us, just me and Jamie, as possible. Obviously, there's some things that we can't do ourselves. There's some things that I don't have the expertise for, and Jamie doesn't, and we need to bring in the talent. And we're working, like, we put out the physical release of the first record last year as a deluxe tape and art box, and we did like 20 of them through a really good label over here called Astral Noise Records. And although it was, like, again, it's through a small underground label, it was done with people that we knew gave a shit about our music. We knew that they weren't in it just to sell units, and they were there to be part of something really cool and unique.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing again with the new record coming out this summer, Messiah Complex, through a different UK and Swedish-based label, Apocalyptic Witchcraft. And again, these are the kind of people we wanted to work with from the get-go. So when we were sending out the emails and the press releases and stuff, these are the kind of labels we were looking for. And it is just super beneficial and really pleasing to have the people that we're interested in be interested in back, if that makes sense. Like yourself, like with Nerve Altar and Holy Goat.
Yes, Ralph from Holy Goat and Aaron from Nerve. What also it makes it interesting is that not only freedom, but in terms of, like, motivation. Yes, like, you are motivated. And third point being, like, it helps you sustain whatever you're doing, your art form. There are friends who will release. If you do, like, down the road, if I don't have money to release my own records, I have someone to put out those records that I want. And there's no contract. He just loves our music. I love what he does, right? We do it collaboratively, So, and it's a sustainable, not in the sense of finance, but, music-wise, art-wise. I hope also, for you, for everyone, for every independent music, they sustain themselves in a more natural way, in terms of finance as well.
For sure. It's the creativity that it allows Jamie to have. As he sits and writes, records tracks and samples and everything. It's all himself. I'm just the pretty face. I don't have anything to do with the music. I'm just the one who's trying to.
What do you do in the band, or?
Oh no, nothing. I just manage the projects. I manage social media stuff. I'm the in between stuff, because the idea is that the more, with all the stuff like that, if Jamie's having to do that, then that's taking away time from him where he could be drawing, where he can be writing music, where he can be making a custom battle jacket, painting bleach paintings and t-shirts and all this, because he's a creative mind. And when he stops being creative, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, he starts to strangle himself almost. He needs to be doing creative things, and especially in the last few months with not being able to tattoo, he's had like the time rather to be getting stuck into this kind of stuff. But I'm really the in-between. I don't want Jamie to be stopping. Like, if Jamie's not writing music or drawing stuff or coming up with t-shirt designs, then I don't have things to sell. So I want him to be able to do all that. And I'm the way for him to be free to do all this. And like you guys have, there's 6 of you. There's, like you're saying with your friends in Nerve Altar and Holy Goat, with them, you have the freedom and the space to do what you want to do and get it out there in the way you want to do it, rather than having somebody looking over your shoulder, ticking off boxes and making sure everything's signed on the line.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it,
I think there's going to, like you're saying, there's going to be more and more people doing this. And with Bandcamp especially, it's one of these ones I always talk about in my grind features and stuff on Heavy Blog. is that I get 95% of my new music just by searching Bandcamp tags and just scouring it. I'm in page 100 of grindcore and power violence. And I find my new favorite band every second page, and it might be like a 2-minute demo, but it just gives me the juice.
Coming to talk about that, so for me, not only in music but in general, like our core of friends, the 6 folks that we play plus other friends that we collaborate on, now we're trying to go more independent in terms of not only doing pressing the record, the arts, the media stuff, and also videos, editing, and so we want to keep it within the group, so we can do it everything ourselves. On top of that, we're also trying to move away from Bandcamp, just to tell you, we are building our own platform.
Okay, cool.
Streaming music, downloading music, buying records, and we want to put out like Bandcamp, our friend stuff in there. No money, nothing. We don't charge anyone anything. We're building. It's already 99% complete, the website and whatnot. And there we are doing in-house all the coding in the back. My drummer Govinda is a developer, so he's all into this stuff. And yeah, man. Also, we are building this 360 VR platform where you will be able to see videos from your phone or wherever through a VR camera, 360 platform.
Wow.
And we're gonna do a subscription. Yeah.
You could have somebody sorry, man, on you go. I'm cutting you off.
So everything in one place, and we have already to let you know, we have already registered it as a company as well. Not to be in the corporate world, but you gotta pay your taxes. So we're preparing for it. We call it the GCBT Media. It's like Gurkha Commando Blast Team Media.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Everything.
That's awesome.
You could do everything. Yeah. You could watch your videos or other bands. So we're gonna push it among all friends. It's not like we're gonna make any money out of it. We just want people to enjoy the music in a way, in a true art form, whatever they want. You know what I mean? Not in the simple, like you watch a video with a VR in a 360. Oh my God, that's gonna be crazy. Yeah.
They're like standing at the crowd barrier at a Chepang show, watching it all.
Or other band or whoever our friends, we do the video. So we're building these codes on top of codes. We're trying to integrate with AI. We're doing a lot of things in the back end.
That's super fucking exciting. That's it completely meshes with our ethos as well of having it done everything in house. I've been through lockdown. I've been teaching myself image and video editing. Sorry, my accent.
I tried. I could not. I tried a couple of times. I would sit there and my wife just said, "What are you doing? You sat there at 9 a.m. You're still there at 9 p.m. You can't do this," because I'm a family man. So I said, I said to my drummer, I said, "Govinda, please take this responsibility of editing the videos. I can't do it anymore. This is because of time." You know what I mean?
Oh, the first day I sat and tried to edit my first 20-second clip. I started off with footage, 10 minutes of footage, and through adding loads of distortion and cuts and filters and all these things. I must have watched 200 separate YouTube tutorials. Every single stage of the editing, I was going to a new tutorial and saving it and trying it and then doing it again and saving it.
But that's how you learn, So you try and error because we're not professionally trained. How many hours did it take for that 10 seconds video?
The first 20-second video took me maybe 14 hours all in, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. For me too, I think there was a 30-second clip that I wanted to do. It took me 2 days. I mean, day and night, At one point, and at the end, I was fuck it, whatever. This is this final. I'm not going to change anything. Because you start to look at YouTube videos and you discover a lot of things that you want to do. Oh, I could do this. I could put this transition effect. Oh, cool. Then it doesn't work out. Sometimes, the lag is there. It's okay. You don't understand what's going on. You got to go Google it out. What's going on? So,
it's probably the best time to be doing it though. Without being at the day job, I had the freedom to stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning with my laptop turning into molten lava on my lap as it tried to as it was rendering an HD video. There's steam coming out of one side. But without all this time, I wouldn't have had the time to even try and
That's
attempt.
that's so true. That's so true. Yeah, I learned that Adobe Acrobat Pro because of this time, plus Pro Tools as well. You know, I really wanted to record by myself, so I learned a lot, which is good. You know, which are good skills you can build on slowly and for sure help yourself and your art form.
Yeah, man, it's like it's all in house. The more I can do like this, the quicker we can get videos, and content is king now. So we need these videos, we need images, we need new stuff every day. We need new
day and age of social
rails.
media. Sorry, I mean it is what it is, right? You love it or hate it, you gotta do it. You know. If not,
like if you're not doing it, then there's going to be somebody that's doing something similar but is better at social media than you, and they're going to get the clicks, they're going to get the followers, they're going to get the traffic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it's very very dog eat dog, but like we enjoy it. We really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's just like those nowadays. I see when I go to Facebook, once in a while, I see like 1,000 videos of people doing live videos. Because people are stuck at home, and it's like wow. You just go like wow. People are learning and doing, which is cool and all, but then at the end also, it's a lot of bad, like. What I would say unfiltered like bullshit stuff in there.
Yeah, for when everybody's got the time and everybody thinks that they're going to be the next YouTube star, there's just so much content that is just not worth the time it was invested in recording it to the fucking iCloud or whatever.
Yeah, it burdens you sometimes. Like when you look at the social media, it's like, oh my god, so many things are happening. Although everybody's stuck at home, but you see all these videos left and right.
Yeah. So I'd like to, if you're cool, I'd really quickly chat about Chatta.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously with Chatta compared to Dideo, I know there was obviously releases in between, but looking at those two just together side by side, I felt it was way more not uncomfortable. Yeah, I'll go say it was a more uncomfortable listen than Dideo. And I mean that in a positive way, in that it was making me think. It forced me to think about what I was listening to and what I had just heard, because some of the tracks are that short and brief, and there's obviously the forays and like the power electronics and the feedback and the layers of things underneath the actual grindcore band. That whereas the Deo felt like a much more, I say traditional, but I don't mean that in a negative way again. More traditional grindcore, but with your Nepalese and your heritage elements. But they never felt unnatural together. And I know Chatta has maybe a little bit less of the heritage elements up front, but you can still hear it through the rhythms of the drumming, the double drummers, and the hints of like these weird melodies coming through every track. And obviously, like you said, like we've spoken about this already, like at length, you want to move away from the confines of being a traditional extreme metal band. So just if you could riff on that for us, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I think Danilo was our way of, let's just start with Danilo, right? Let's start with first 7-inch, which was Lathi Charge, which was well received. It was a traditional heavy blasting, mix of grindcore, hardcore, or whatever, right? From then on, we move on to Danilo, where we introduced our second drummer on the record. In that phase as well, we were more like traditional, stuff like that. But then things started turning slowly, I would say, I don't know. I mean, with inspiration-wise, probably it started turning around. And I think with the introduction of our friends from Test, especially from Brazil, we discovered, bands like Def Kids from Brazil and all of those bands. And even Test, they are more like, they do all kind of stuff, like crazy stuff. This is how we got into the free form of music. And this is what, at the end, brought Chatta together, you know what I mean? To where it was. Yeah, so I understand it's pretty, I mean, the way it starts is really uncomfortable. It's different, but then towards the middle part, it starts to, like the punk part, the punk beats and what, it becomes grindcore. Then all of a sudden at the end, it dips, and it's all intentional. And the last song on that is like a traditional instrument with saxophone, and just feels like, oh wow, what the fuck happened? I think you gotta, for me as well, I had to listen like 10 times the full mastered record, just to get what was going on.
And you were there. You wrote it.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of these things, like the added stuff, is not written, by the way. So like the saxophone, the electronic thing, and what else? Like Colin's part, the synth and stuff like that, the background, everything was on the spot, improvised. Like the saxophone and the electronic guitar / noise, Tasi Doze and Mete, they had a show that day in New York City. They came into the studio for a couple of hours. They on the spot improvised and put it down. And they are obviously improvising jazz musicians. They do improvise all the time.
So that's their world.
That's their world. So they felt comfortable and we were like, wow, this is going crazy right now. So we never had an idea of, we will do this and this. I knew that I wanted some parts in every song, but I don't have an idea of how the sound is going to sound like. So they came in and did the thing. Colin did his thing. So it's all on there,
Yeah, it's considering it's a very short release, but it has all of these elements that, like, when I first sat down to write like a formal style of review, with no personal pronouns and keep it more like a traditional review, trying to be unbiased and all these other kind of middling terms, I realized I couldn't do it. I couldn't portray how I wanted my experience on the paper from what I listened to. So I had to do like one of my grind columns. I had to be able to swear. I had to be able to talk about how like it felt like I was getting kicked backwards down a spiral staircase and I was turning into Tetsuo the Iron Man on the way down, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's like this strange nightmarish, but like really kind of serene in parts, because when the full black, like you're saying, in the middle of the record, it does become kind of like, for 10, 15 seconds at a time, it sounds like a traditional punk band, but just layered with all these like power electronics. And then you can hear the second drummer just smashing the china for no reason, because he just wants to do it because it sounds nice.
Yeah.
But like it felt like this kind of punk grind explosion that Dideo, while I fucking love that record, it didn't have this like unpredictability that made everything so, like, it made me want to skip back to the track so I could hear it again from the start and hear how it went into the next track.
Correct. And I think in general, like my nature and the whole band in general nature is that we're really random people. We will have an idea for a second, then we'll just skip it and go to another one. Same like if we go out to eat together, nobody has no clue where they're gonna eat. You're like, oh shit, oh that's a good spot, let's go eat. Or let's go, oh that's a good spot, like let's hang out there. Like we don't have plans. No plans at all for us. I mean, it's our downside, plus like I would say our advantage as well. Because in records like this, where it's like, oh, let's do this. Fuck yeah, let's do it. Just fucking blast the China away. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's like, oh, how should we close the album? Let's throw down 4 drum and bass and dub remixes. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, and that part too, I think it was like to say, Chatta was actually recorded last year in June, so it took a lot of time for us to release it. So at one point it was like, should we make it a 7-inch? Should we make a 10-inch? Because we had only the side A, right? And then at one point I was like, we have so many friends who are doing electronics. Let's just put side B as electronics, give them the stems, and they do their stuff. Like we do our stuff inside it, they do their stuff. This is how it became an LP rather than a 7-inch or a 10-inch or whatnot. And it also gives people, listeners, more to listen to rather than just like one side with how many 13 minutes of music. For people to discover, I know 99% hates it because I saw reviews like, oh, I don't understand why the remix is. Yeah, of course, it's not. The whole thing about Chepang is about like friends coming together and doing whatever they want in a collaborative way. It's never been about doing things in a certain way. You know what I mean? That's why we call our team Golkha Commando Blast Team. You know what I mean? It's like a collective thing. So.
Yeah, and because you've got Gurkha Commando Blast Team, if you wanted to, you could get it tattooed on your knuckles.
Actually, we have a tattoo with our
you
logo.
Do?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
The one who made it is like a famous tattoo artist from Nepal. He's been to UK too. I don't know if you know him. Mohan. His name is Mohan. He's been all around the world. He won a bunch of things. He's like the best tattoo artist from Nepal. He has a couple of shops here in New York and Dallas.
Okay.
In Nepal, he has 2. He's been in UK. So he did the logo and he did everything, and we all have the tattoo.
That's awesome.
It's like the brotherhood. Like I'll show you one day. Like like friends from Germany have it. Some dude from New Hampshire has it. In Nepal they have it. So it's like, yo, you gotta get that if you want to be a part of the collective.
Oh man, like I've got some space. I've got plenty of space. So man, I'll definitely have it thrown on. If you'll let me join as an honorary member of the Gurkha Blast Command.
Of course. It's a cool one. Like with the traditional thing. I'll show you one day. It's a pretty good thing with the Nepalese words and around it. So yeah. So let me show you though. Yeah, this is this one right here. This one right here. Here, I show you. Do you see it?
Ah, nice. Yeah.
So Gurkha. That's the instrument, like our traditional instrument, percussion. And then
is it like just a regular drum, or does it have strings and stuff on it as well?
String? No, it's string. That's just a strap made out of.
Sorry.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Super traditional though. Like that's another part of why I think the Deo caught my attention. Because, like, don't get me wrong, if like a straight up grinder power violence band puts out a 3-track EP and it's great, I'll fucking love it. I'll play it 100 times, but I might forget about it a week later. Whereas with the Deo, I kept having to go back and re-listen to something like the saxophone heavy tracks. And I was like, am I hearing what I'm hearing? It's like this kind of.
You are referring to Chatta, right?
Yes. Sorry. Getting twisted up, but. Like it kept having to go back to be able to be like, am I definitely hearing this right, or am I filling in the gaps in my head?
Yeah. Like you got, I love those kind of records too. When you have to revisit, like it's cool records. Like some of those records, I have those kind of records. Like one of those records for say is like, do you know this band Kralis?
Kralis, yes.
Kralis. Yes, they put out this record called Yug Hoer. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I know the one you mean.
Yeah, that's one of the records. That's the only record I have from Kralis and from Colin, great dude who recorded Chatta. Then I go back and again, like I listen to all these harmonies going left and right. It's just a crazy album, And I love those kind of albums. So I'm glad that Chatta feels the same way for you and for everyone.
Yeah, but I mean, it's this benefit of having this like you're saying with your group of friends that are in the band. It's like a culture of personality, whereas some bands they may have one personality that is more strong or stronger represented. Without naming names, there's probably quite a few like burgeoning extreme bands that are probably all the stuff is written by one person and they just tack on the band members.
Yeah.
And you can. Maybe it's not like up front, you couldn't tell straight away, but looking into the band and maybe looking at the members' history and stuff, you could tell that it is really one voice commanding the whole group. Whereas with Chepang, you're saying like you guys have the freedom for somebody to say, let's throw a drum solo in this track. And then the other guy's like, nah, let's not. And they go, okay then.
Yeah, it's just like, I think we do whatever, go on, do your thing, it's, like I think the record before that, the Bariga de Verme, the one we recorded, is like most of those instrument tracks, were recorded without listening. So you recorded one part, your part, then the guitar, the drummers recorded whatever they want. Like they keep blasting 3 drummers in one place, right? Doing whatever they want. Then on top of it, we did synth without listening to the drums. The dude is just playing synth around, and at the end, everything was put together by Colin. So props to him. He's a fucking genius, obviously, with 500 bands and crazy fucking instrumental.
There's not a single Colin Marston release, whether it's something he's performed on or just been behind the dials from, that is dull. He hasn't put out a dull record.
Yes, I confirm that. Yeah, he's a crazy dude. Very, very nice dude as well.
That's good to hear. You always fear nowadays that when you find out your heroes might be dickheads, but no, it's good to hear.
He's the opposite.
He's a good egg.
It's a good. I think we will never record anywhere beside Collins. Since it's like 20 minutes away from our place, and it's like we feel like home. We get to eat, we get to talk, we'll smoke, we take all kind of stuff. It's super cool.
very relaxed, very like almost like we have this pipe dream of like one day becoming so world dominating world domineering that we have our own compound full of extreme musicians and tattoo artists and
Ah,
you
that
know,
would be
the
nice.
good kind of type people where we could have, if you
Yeah,
wanted to, you could have a drum circle one night and the next night you have a punk gig and then you do an art show,
yeah,
and that's our kind of goal. And like that seems like this is a very similar vibe to like you're saying with recording with Colin. You have the freedom
yeah,
and you have the
yeah,
relaxation, and it becomes
yeah,
your own. Even if it is a temporary, you know, if it's a studio
yeah,
you're in, but the world around you becomes your own
yeah,
little compound. Like it doesn't matter that there's other people there;
yeah.
they're not invited.
Yeah, and he already knows what you want, like because he will do his homework or what you want. So when first say we went to record Chatta, right? The night before that, he will already have the drum set up, mic and all, like
Wow.
everything's ready. You just go there and you just play, and that's it. Cool, like, super cool. Like, we don't have to spend time doing this and that and trying to find tones or whatnot. Workflow is super fast. Yeah.
So like again, that gives you all the more freedom to be creative and spend the time to completely change ideas and turn a song on its head, or cut. It's basically the freedom to
Exactly.
play Chepang as Chepang wants to play.
And he lets you do whatever you want, But if you ask him something like, Colin, what do you feel about this part? He will say, yeah, I think this might sound cool, if you want to do it this way. But it's up to you, It's not like somebody's driving you to do something. And we all hate metronome because we can't play in metronome, and he loves without metronome parts. So it's a dream, man.
Yeah,
Tag
fuck the
team.
click track. Fuck the click
Yeah,
track.
exactly. Yeah. It fucks us up, you know what I mean?
The I chopped up a couple of quick notes from the call, but to be honest, I'm having more fun avoiding the normal talking points.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just going to have to ask you, obviously with you guys like being based in around New York, which from like someone like myself who grew up on American media, like whether it was Marvel Comics with Spider-Man swinging around New York, and then reading stuff like Garth Ennis's The Boys, which is a violent comic set in the New
Yeah.
York, all the New York TV shows that I grew up on, even the cheesy ones like Law and Order, all the way down to like more cool indie ones, and like movies and stuff. It's this like massive hub for creatives. So as long as New York has been New York, it's been this big hub for creatives. But it's also this giant metropolis where you can get
Yeah.
lost in and stuff. And I've never been. It's like the pipe dream destination for me. Maybe once things have calmed down a bit, I'll come visit.
Yeah.
But coming from Kathmandu, which is itself like one of the fastest growing places in that part of
Yeah, it's the
Asia.
capital city, yeah.
Yeah, so I know it's like just under 3 million people population. I've done some very
Yeah, I
quick
think
googling,
so.
so you can correct me if I'm wrong. But
I don't know either, so it's fine. Probably. But I think it sounds right.
yeah, so like I was just wondering what it feels like. Obviously, culture shock wise, different from like the Kathmandu metropolis to the New York metropolis. But is there some sort of like familiarity between the two with being like on top of everybody and everybody's pushed in together?
Yeah, I mean, it has a similar vibe because Kathmandu is a busy city with a lot of people, a lot of stuff happening. Um, in terms of lots of people and lots of things happening, yes, there's a similarity, but it's not sort of like cultural shock for me because I live in a part of New York where it's like mostly like my place in Kathmandu. You know everyone, and you have this mom and pop stores around where you can go buy $1 tamales. It's a very cultural hub. I love the fact that New York is a cultural hub. You get to, and I love food. You get to like I could walk around the block and I could tell you there's like 15 different country foods right in around the block, and it's all cheap. $1, $5, $2, $3, and that's what like I forget I'm in New York because people how they see New York is like big tall buildings with all this stuff. I do work in Manhattan where there's a tall right. My office is actually right opposite of Trump's Tower.
Oh wow!
So in Madison, it's like it's in the hub, But I forget when I'm here, like this, I forget where I am. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I've always been way more invested in and more interested in the Bronx and Brooklyn and Queens and Staten Island than I have been. But I know Manhattan is there, like Spider-Man swinging through this. I don't know how many times I'm going to bring up Spider-Man. By the way, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. If you didn't guess, but like it's Queens and Brooklyn and stuff that like I would want to go to. If I spend 2 weeks in New York, I'm not going to go see the Statue of Liberty. I'm not going to go see the Empire State Building. I want to go to St. Vitus 3 nights in a row. I want to go find like the best sandwich place in Queens, and I want to go to Staten Island and just take loads of photos where I know Method Man's hang out.
And that's the way to do it. And whenever my friends from different parts of the globe come here, you could stay in my house, by the way. Huh? So I have a big, nice apartment. So whenever they come, they just hang out in Queens. and some of our friends, like my friends, have told me intentionally, it's like, oh, is this New York? Like why can't we go out to the city where there's buildings? I thought it would have buildings. I thought we would be having nice fancy dinner instead of having this fucking Indonesian fried rice. It's like every day, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. But this is where you discover, because I think New York City is a melting pot of culture. I'm pretty sure London is as well, because like a lot of people from Nepal are in London. If you don't know, because the British Army, right?
My grandfather served in the Air Force during World War II, and when he didn't have like Gurkhas in his plane or anything, he would still he was still part of a plane that would carry like move troops and pick up people, and they had, whether it was people at the bases, because obviously a lot of the military families lived on the base and stuff. I believe that's probably the case with the Gurkhas as well. So it was it's one of these things that like really gets up my arse, to use a Scottish term, when we have like the VE Day celebrations, and you have the majority of like flag waving Brits shouting about how they won the war and they defeated Hitler and the Nazis, and they have no idea that our armed forces were made up of Gurkhas, Muslims, Indians, and Pakistani people, and that it was being fought from different sides, and you don't even think about any of the other nations and stuff are involved, and it's that kind of small-mindedness which makes me desperate to leave this part of the world. And it's not all like that. Obviously, we have really good, there's good people that have their head on their shoulders. But it's really, if you like, I'm guilty of it, of checking the headlines of the Daily Mail and the Sun and all these dirt rag papers, which are spewing out xenophobic bullshit literally every day.
That's the media, that's the mainstream media, whatever it is, whatever their agenda is. But you can't take away the history, the fact, the same in the States as well right now, with all the things going on with Black Lives Matter and whatnot. You cannot ignore these things, it's been ignored for long. So, at one point it's going to come. It's good that actually in UK that they gave citizenship to these British Gurkha families, and British Gurkha, they have a life, and they have some benefits. They can better benefits than Nepal, which is cool, which is good. I hope they get what they deserve. That's my thing. My wife's dad is actually in he's a British Gurkha, so he's in I believe Aldershot.
Okay.
Aldershot. I don't know where it is, but it's a part somewhere.
I know it's in England somewhere, and I know they have a really shit football team, and that's about it.
Do you follow football?
Yeah, like our football, not American football,
Rangers.
No.
What is that? The other one, the green and the white.
Celtic, not them either, I'm afraid.
Who are you?
I came into football much later. I was like, when I was younger, it was all music all the time. I didn't care about anything if it wasn't music. I used to play bass. Whenever I was near a drum kit, you would have to like break my fingers to get the drumsticks out of my hands because I loved making the noise. But when the 2006 World Cup came around, and a lot of my friends at the time were more into football, so I started following it. I started watching your AC Milan, Juventus, Barcelona. But it wasn't until probably my early 20s that I became quite like, my best friend took me to like my first proper football game, and it was Motherwell, his hometown team. And Motherwell are very small team, very, very diehard, fan club and stuff. But no, they've not won anything for 30 years. and they don't win a lot. But they're not Rangers or Celtic. The whole thing with this might be news to you, and it's probably really boring for anyone who's heard. Like in Scotland, we deal with a lot of sectarianism, in that Rangers are typically, or have traditionally and typically been, the Protestant football club, while Celtic have been the Catholic and Immigrant club.
Oh, okay. There's an underlying religious thing there.
Yeah, so like
I didn't know that's a new one.
Yeah, Glasgow is split in two. That's Rangers and Celtic. There's also Partick Thistle, but everybody forgets about them because they're rubbish.
Yeah.
But like Edinburgh has Hibs and Hearts, green and purple. Glasgow has green and blue, Rangers and Celtic. And they have, like, I don't know if you know much about like football hooliganism in the UK and Scotland.
I follow that. Yeah.
So yeah, Scotland, like Glasgow in particular, is very divided. Yeah, very rowdy, and like it was obviously a lot worse in the past. Yeah. You know, people having their mouths cut and their faces and everything, stabbings.
Stabbings. Yeah.
So when we call it the Old Firm, so when Glasgow is cut in two on like a Saturday when Rangers are playing Celtic, the city is not nice to be in.
Oh,
it's just, you know, like people will be taking the subway and it will get loaded with one side of, you know, for every 10 fans that are dickheads, for every 10 fans that are violent and everything, there's still 100 fans that are just there to watch football and because they grew up with it and it's a tradition and it's a family thing for a lot of them. It's just the 1 in 100 that make it worse.
That's the violence. That's the culture.
I mean, like, Scottish football violence is like one of the things that a lot of people like to ban about our country. You know, not the fact that we invented penicillin and the telephone or all these other fucking things.
Yeah, correct. I used to follow a lot of soccer because I used to play soccer when I was growing up, like really young, and then until like high school and college. So, and we followed in English Premier League because we have this thing with the British scorecard and whatnot. Yeah. So we grew up around, you know, English Premier League. That's how.
Who did you support growing up?
Oh my God! So Manchester United. So that was like the big team for us. I know people, you know, that's for me. I think it was a big team. And at one point, I liked German teams too, because my dad was in Germany, so I started following German Bundesliga. Then I like that big team, Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they're world dominators. They're not going to lose the league for another 10 years, probably.
Yeah, but Manchester United, I heard, is going downhill. I don't know. I'm not. I don't follow all as closely as like I have been in the past. But it's one of these ones that I don't want teams to lose. I don't want them to get like, you know. But like in the same breath, I like it when the teams my friends support lose because I can wind them up. Turn around to them and be like, "Oh, Arsenal are shit this year, aren't they, Sandy?" Yeah. It's always like that. Yeah, we have discussions over that here too. Like my friend, like close friends are really big Liverpool fan, and they've been winning, right? So they'll be texting. I don't follow soccer anymore, but they're texting. So some of my friends who are Manchester fans, like, "Go Reds," you know, like.
It's such a strange thing because it's like the conflict of it can be like that and super friendly and joking and jovial, and then you have it like a guy in a blue top meets a guy in a green top on the street at night and they fucking slice each other to death, you know. It's like literally like the super extremes of everything. But going back to sports, that one of the things I discovered in the States where was American football. So. And then I went to school in Alabama, of all places, all down south. And in Alabama, football is a religion, just like in Scotland. So, and you have two teams that are big, Auburn and University of Alabama. Every time they play together, which is called the Iron Ball every year. The Roll Tide.
Yeah, there you go. People die. They shoot each other within a family, by the way.
Wow.
It's crazy down there. Like they kill each other for that. Like I was like, okay, but it is what it is. You know? Some people are like just like that.
If everyone just took some time out of their week to listen to a little bit of grindcore, they'd be way more calm. That's what I think.
It might trigger opposite, you know. Some people might trigger. You never know. No.
I guess that's from my bias. Like I like to fall asleep listening to blast beats and noise. Other people need to listen to whale sounds and rainforest sounds. But maybe it would have the adverse effect if we were pumping like retortion terror through the speakers at a football game.
What have you been listening to nowadays? What are you listening
The last little while, it's like selfishly, I've been listening to the new record that Jamie's put together a lot, just because I want to be. The more I listen to it, the better I can help sell it effectively. Really been enjoying that one. What else is on my little play queue here? I've been going back. Actually, I found, especially during quarantine, I've had the time to go back and really get back into some favorite albums. So I've actually I've really been slacking on new music. I've been listening to. I've been really, like, more than anything, back to Sepultura, Chaos AD, and Arise. I just think like the even like with the production on those records, while it sounds maybe a bit thinner or maybe not as like commanding as modern production, really it's just crisp, and you can hear Max Cavalera fucking downstrokes every single time and tearing the skin off his finger. You can really hear it in the production. And obviously, like, Igor Cavalera is just one of the most entertaining and like fascinating drummers to hear, like his offbeat hits and his syncopation.
Correct.
Sepultura, a little bit of had some New Model Army. I've been listening to some of that as well. I guess you know, I don't know if people would call it new wave or like modern industrial, but it's like 80s and 90s kind of stuff. A lot of that kind of stuff. Like really heavy, like
type. Okay. The Cure kind of thing.
Oh, it's a bit more like straightforward industrial than The Cure, but like I fucking love The Cure. That's one of like the Desert Island Discs would be Disintegration. I would take that.
That's the only band I know. I don't know one song, but I know the name. If you talk about that genre in particular,
they're classic staples of British or like shit British music, because they're like at that time. I mean, I'm 30 years old now, but The Cure were obviously at the height of their popularity in the early 90s. So all this stuff was way over my head. So like, finding it as a young, I think I was 13 or 14 when I had like my first copy of Disintegration. And at the time, I was listening to like all the Roadrunner bands, Chimera, God Forbid, Spine Shank. You know, that's the kind of stuff. I grew up coming out of the new metal era, and it was only like,
that's hip.
only
that's hip now. You should open up a new metal hardcore band or something like that. You know
there's like Vane, 156 Silence, Code Orange, so all these bands. Everything just goes round like this. Like you miss it the first time, and if you wait long enough, you're like, oh shit, grindcore's popular again. Oh, never mind. Oh, it's popular again. Never mind.
It keeps coming back.
What about yourself? What's been blasting through your speed?
For a while, I think I was listening to the old Meshuggah record, Contradictions Collapse. I discovered that through one of my friends, because I don't know Meshuggah's other music. So, and then that was one of them. I think now lately I've been listening to this Japanese band, Tricard. Do you know them?
I don't. You'll have to link me.
Tricard. I mean, I don't know if you like it, but it's more pop and math rock type, and there's 3 girls and 1 guy. Pretty cool. And my son loves it. My wife, my daughter loves it. So we all listen to Tricard. I just ordered 2 of the records, and all we listen to this pop record all the time. The song you gotta listen is called Melon Soda. It's so, my God, so lush.
Melon Soda.
That's a really good song. You gotta listen. I mean, I'm telling you, once if you're hooked to that band, you're hooked. You're hooked.
It's like you'll know straight away.
Yeah, you're hooked. Like, you know, the man with math rock, I think there's a lot of instruments, a lot of things, signature singing going on, but they don't have vocals, especially ladies' vocals. And this girl's voice is so lush. It's just dreamy, as it's really good. And the way they compose their songs and the rhythm shifts in between here and there, it's like, for me, it's like, wow, you know, I gotta do that. I gotta sing some in Chepang too. Ooh, that, you know. It gives me ideas, basically. Yeah.
We'll have you in like a nice like VHS style video with long hair and a wind machine.
Oh, right. Blowing in the back with some ocean background, whatnot. Maybe,
or like a really badly green screened Himalayas behind you, you know?
Oh, yeah. That'd be cool, yeah. So, yeah, Tricard, I think Tricard is the band that I've been listening a lot. Before that, I was listening to Contradictions. Like you, once I listened to one record, I listened for a month or 2. Just one record. Just to soak it in. And right now, it's Tricard. It's been a month now. Like all the albums, repeat. So I only have no more dissonance. I only have melodies in my head right now. If I play something in my guitar, it's just like ambient music now. It's like only melodies.
You know, like you've forgotten how to play like a drop
Exactly,
tune
exactly.
chug, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I got a Telecaster because of Tricard. I'm sorry, you know. I just got it like 2 days ago, and I've been playing a Telecaster, and I'm thinking like, yo, if I play this Telecaster in a single coil pickup, melodies on a blast beat, how would it sound? So I'm just thinking about that now, like,
You're
you know,
building
like
it in your head. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, you know, once I start to build, and it's hard for me to sleep. I don't know, like I get up early at around 6 a.m. sometimes. So today I got up at 6 a.m. and then 2 hours I was in the bed from 6 to 8. I kept thinking about it, like, oh, this should go there, this should go there. It just like it becomes like this wave of ideas, and you just have a headache at the end of the
Yeah, like unless you get them out and on the paper
day.
or on the in the
Yeah.
recording, they're just
Fortunately,
spinning around in there.
today we usually me and my drummer would jam around Saturday and Sunday. So around now we started doing it since last week. So today I can get it out. Hopefully he will be able to pick it up. Oh, one thing I've been listening for a week now is Atom Smasher. Do you know that band? Atom Smasher.
It rings a bell, but then at the same breath,
It's Dave Weedy from Discordance Access, and what's his name? The guy, the producer, the famous producer, the mastering guy, James Plotkin.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Phantom Smash. Yeah, I got him here.
Yeah, not Phantom Smasher, but Atom Smasher. I don't know if Phantom Smasher is the same dude, the drummer, but Atom Smasher, the band.
I'm seeing it here.
Yeah, David. Yeah, so I've been blowing my mind over that. Yeah, it's just again, Atom Smasher again and again and again. It's a crazy one. They have scenes and all, like blast beats. It's crazy.
I really enjoyed them. This was one you put me onto. I knew it was coming out, but it had gone to the back of my mind until you fired over that you were putting it out and you were involved. It was Takafumi's his massive super mega Power Rangers Megazord compilation of grindcore artists.
It was the grindcore heroes of the world unite to fight the right, that kind of thing.
I'm just trying to imagine what it would look like the old Japanese kaiju robots and stuff, but like made out of grindcore bands and terrifying.
I'll spill some beans here. So while the new records, so he's putting out like a single sans EP with this label from that is releasing. I think you like that band as well. I forgot. Fond Limbs. You know Fond Limbs, right?
I just got the Eli from Fond Limbs just sent me the new record last night, and it is fucking insane.
Yeah, I love Fond Limbs too. So the last record that they did full length, I forgot whatever. But same label that's putting out is, I think, the dude from Aesop was putting out the Fond Limbs records.
Yeah,
is putting out Takafumi's. It's like a EP, and it consists of. Nobody knows this. I'm gonna tell you. It consists of John Tang, the dude from Swarm. Do you know? I don't know if it's a Japanese band, Swarm.
I know Swarm. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the members.
It's a fucking crazy band. That vocalist, and then you have motorized vocalist, and the drummer is from the hardcore Japanese band Palm
are fucking sweet. They're
so
so good.
there's like 6 songs. I think 6 or 8 songs. It's fucking crazy. You listen. It's way different than the LP. It's so off track off the LP, but it's so good. Like I think he's putting. I don't know when he's putting. Takafumi just sent me like a couple of days ago, and I was like blowing my mind to it, because the Swarm vocalist especially is like a big inspiration for me. If you go back and listen to Swarm, you will know. Like it's fucking like post rock on blast beats, but with fucking crazy vocals. Like the craziest vocal you'll ever listen to. It's like in grindcore. It's really, I cannot describe it. It's super crazy. And then you have like left Swarm vocalist going wild, and then in right you have Chang going wild. And then the melodies on top, like 8 layers of guitars or 10 layers of guitars, and no blast beat.
You've totally sold me on it. I know I'm going to like it.
It's minimalistic blast beat because Palm, is being hardcore. He has his grooves and stuff like. It's different, to the traditional blast beat Takafumi songs that you've been listening, because he's not like a grindcore drummer. So You will have
Like,
bass beats. It's not like, but you don't feel like it's a grindcore.
yeah, it's like my favorite thing about the
Yeah.
grindcore being like I said, like it took me a long time to find my way into like the really extreme kind of music.
Yeah.
Just from growing up with my dad's record collection, like Maiden, Sabbath, Priest, Slayer, that kind of stuff, and then finding my way into Converge initially, and then there's some of the bands they were touring with, like Botch and that kind of more dissonant mathcore kind of stuff, and then even then some of the more like extreme grindcore stuff was still a little bit too alien for me. Like I was like, I can't hear the bass, I can't hear the melody, and then as I grew older, I was like, now when I hear the bass and the melody in a song, I'm like, well, give me a song that I can't hear it so much. I want to hear it, but like this much of it.
Yeah,
but
you gotta listen to you must listen to Swarm. You must dig in their catalog, like the old records. The newer records are okay, but the old records. I mean, when it came out, I mean, they're such a unique grindcore band. For me, like it's super inspirational, way different than whatever other bands have done. It's super intense too. So Swarm is the shit. That's what I would say. And of course, Fun Leaves. I love Fun Leaves. I can't wait to get that record. I was actually, it's releasing. I think they're doing a pre-order on Monday or whatnot. I'm gonna buy it.
I think it goes live by the time we put this out. I think the pre-orders will be live as well. So
yeah, I'm gonna get a copy of that because I still want a copy of the vinyl of the last album, but I don't think they put it out on vinyl. I was looking for it on vinyl. They just sold out the CD and the tape.
I know
Hopefully it comes out.
It's Christian of Mathcore Index. He has been putting Fawn Limb stuff out under his label. It's Dark Trail Records. I hope I've not gotten that wrong, Christian. If you're listening, I'm sorry. Like they did the CDs and the tapes, I think, and then over here.
Harm Emissions was that.
Yeah, that's the one. Because there's Sludge Lord Records over here in the UK. Aaron from Sludge Lord, he's a fucking really good dude, and he always gets these really cool releases from like the best cool bands. So he did, I think, Fawn Limb's tapes for UK and Europe, and then Dark Trail did them for the States and stuff. But I'm not sure about vinyl for Harm Emissions, but I think if we shout at Eli enough.
They said they're gonna release it. Oh, the other label that the dude runs from Asok runs is Roman numeral. That's what.
Yes, that's the one. Yes.
Yeah. I just checked in Facebook. I think he's he's in Canada or somewhere, something like that.
I think so. Yeah, French Canada maybe. I think other than Chepang, in my people still I'm not famous or even infamous by any means, but I still have people asking me at the end of the year what my favorite releases were, because maybe they've not had the time to sit and review music and look at or listen to as much music or spend as much time as I do listening to new stuff. But when it gets to the end of the year, there's going to be the Chatta will be in there. The new Fawn Limbs record's going to be there. I've literally only listened to it once the whole way through last night, but I was fucking like sweating by the end of it, and I told Eli as I was listening to it, I told him I was like, my teeth hurt, my jaw and my head, like I was clenching, and like my body was just like tight listening to it. And then when I got to the end of it, I was just like, I got to release, and I was like, oh fuck. But if you chase Eli, I'm sure he'll be able to hook you up. But I also like this year as well the new Worm record from Worm, the grind band from South Carolina. We've had Ian on the podcast, and a couple times, and we put out like a shirt and hoodie with them as well. Really fucking just really nice dudes. And again, I was like the same with yourself and Chepang. I heard like one of the Worm splits or EPs 4 or 5 years ago. And it was that instant kind of like, yes, this is a band I know I want to have in my life going forward. So I reached out to Ian, and I was like, hey man, I'm just going to write this little 500-word piece. It was actually the first grind column I did for Heavy Blog. The Grind My Gears, the one I write for them, was Worm for their Swarm. No, not Swarm. That's the new album. I can't remember the name now. Sorry, Ian. But the first EP that I listened, and I stopped what I was doing, and I opened my Word document and wrote the 600, 700 words I needed to get it out. Like as soon as I heard it, it's one of these things that's a natural reaction. Same thing with Chepang, same thing with the Fawn Limbs. Like there aren't many records I know that, 15 seconds into the first song, I get like the goosebumps all along your arm.
Did you hear this record? I don't know if you that Aaron from Normal Heart put it out. ESP Mayhem.
ESP Mayhem. Not familiar.
My God, you don't know. They have 3 synths, 1 blast beat, 1 vocal. The drummer is from Internal. The drummer is from Internal Rot.
Oh, fucking Internal Rot are absolutely amazing.
That's the drummer.
The two mini like the releases they put out this year, so good.
Yeah,
it's like proper extreme like avant grind.
Yeah. But the ESP Mayhem is something. If you listen, I'm sure you'll have it at the end of your list. It's a crazy record. Fucking 3 synths, left, right, in the middle, and 1 drummer blasting away. It's crazy. It's one of those records that I really caught my ear. It's a really good one.
But like, if anything, after this call today, I know I've got 3 or 4 things. I'm looking at the album. I'm looking at the album art now for the ESP Mayhem.
Oh yeah. And it's free to download from Aaron Norvalter if you want to download for free or whatever you want to pay.
It looks like people are maybe listening to this. They're not gonna see what I'm looking at, but they need to check it out. It looks like a Metal Gear from Metal Gear Solid, but it's got like Adidas branding on it, and it's got tentacles, and is that a giant cigarette coming out of it as well? I think. That's wild. That's fucking wild.
Dude, you gotta listen to it. It's all electronic blasts. 3 synths, not 1, not 2, but 3 fucking synths on blast beats.
Yes.
With grooves. It's a must-have.
It's the kind of stuff that I have moved way more into and enjoying. Like saying with Chepang, like the more experimental and the weirder stuff that you're doing, like. It's like as if that the record couldn't get any better. When I got to the remixes, I was like, oh, okay, well, it just got better, because it's not like you're saying when you want to move forward, like away from these kind of like restrictions into more free form and just doing stuff like the Bariga, like you're saying, tracking the drums, blind tracking synths, blind tracking vocals or synth guitars on top. It's just. It might not sound like, it's the thing, we live and love the music that to 99.99% of people just sounds like kicking typewriters downstairs. Correct. But to us, we hear it and we're like, oh my God, this is fresh, this is scary, it's exciting. And then you get like a break and you're like, I need to take a break from this, and you're like, no, fuck it, put me right back in.
I think the another new record probably this year that will come out, Aaron is going to put out as well, is the new Cognizant record.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fucking awesome, I think, because those dudes know what they're doing.
It's Cognizant. They're not entirely similar, but I think I must have heard them in the same like breath or the same evening as Anti-Gamma. European
Avant-Grande,
that kind of like weirder, like sonic kind of like super sci-fi sounds into this kind of super industrial grind, but then it'll all drop out, and then you get this really tinny, de-beating crust punk band for 10 seconds, and then the electronics come swarming in and like knock you down again. That kind of stuff. It needs to be music needs to be daring now for me to give a shit enough to write about it.
Exciting. It must feel I think the one word I would say is exciting. When you hear it, it's like, oh wow. Like, what is this? And it makes you feel motivated and whatnot. Like it gives you inspiration.
Yeah, like
that's the music that you like, I like, right? So
I still remember hearing Converge, Eagles Become Vultures for the first time. And like the drum intro and just how like it sounded like it was out of time and it didn't make any sense. But it was just like I had to go and listen to it again like immediately afterwards. And then of course after that it was like, wait, what have I been missing? And then I realized that like, because I was only 10 years old when Jane Doe came out, and if I'd heard it at the time, I would have been like, well, this is garbage. This is just somebody screaming and somebody playing drums out of time, because I didn't have the capacity to like take it in.
Yeah.
And like, I think after hearing Eagles Become Vultures, and it was like you're saying, that kind of like that wide-eyed, like you're a child tasting bacon for the first time, or you know, like
exactly.
getting a, you know,
Or
like
a,
when you see
or
a
a pasta
cloud.
or something sugary, right?
Yeah, like that, something, anything that like your brain just like these chemicals start firing in your head, and you're like, wait, what is happening here? If somebody spiked my drink, am I? What's going on? Yeah, like you're saying, like I need that now in music for me to be really invested in. So like things like Chepang or the Worm record, which is tradition, you know, it's very typically grind, but then it's super sludgy, and they've been doing splits with hardcore bands, and you can hear that now.
Very nasty. I would say they're nasty, and they tour a lot. They have really hardworking. They work hard, and the record just sounds in your face, punchy. You know, I know that's typical words, but Worm is fucking punchy than not any of the other bands out there right now. You know, like,
there's plenty of US grind bands that like I'll listen to when they put out a new split or EP or something. I'll listen to it, like you're saying, like I'll listen to it for an entire day, an entire week. But I might not necessarily tell people 6 months down the line that they need to be checking this out, because it's not. But like for the Worm release in Japan, Fawn Limbs, these are records I know in 2025 I'll still have on my phone, or I'll still have on my laptop ready to play whenever I want to. Because I'm going to want to go back and listen to them, because they're dangerous and they're exciting, and they're not stuck in like an era. Like what am I trying to say here? Sorry, I'm trying to word it a bit better. Timeless. Yeah, sorry, timeless. Like they're not stamped in like, oh, well, this is a very 1990s grind sound, or you know, like a lot of like I was a massive fan of all the kind of.
Did you see that comment from it's a comment from the band vocalist of Agathocles. How do you pronounce that band? Agathocles or
Agathocles? I don't know, man. I think everyone says it different.
I think he said in a comment he posted in Facebook or somewhere, it's like, nowadays, grind is not dying because they do a lot of instruments. They are more metal and stuff like that. And everybody was like commenting. It was really funny. How, to me, I think music, like I said, right? Like for you, for me, and we are looking for something different. Also, we are the type of person that welcomes change. Like we're more, we're more forward thinking. I would say, and as a personality, and that's what type of music we like, and this is what we want punk music to be, right? Breaking barriers or whatnot. But then you start to put all these genres within a boundary. It's not cool anymore. You know what I mean? That's like,
it defeats its own purpose.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why I'm going to continue to write grindcore columns and to try and snatch up grindcore bands. And in 2 or 3 years' time, with CHRISTWVRKS, with me and Jamie, we both want us to have our own label that we can put out small, independent, cool releases done in cool, unique formats. Shit that's not going to make anybody loads of money. We're not going to get rich in the back of doing like split with electronics bands or stuff. But if we give a shit about it enough, then we're super invested in putting the time and energy into getting that out.
You'll be happy. And happiness is life at this moment. You know what I mean? If you're not happy, you're fucking dead.
I couldn't put it any better.
Yeah, that's life.
Speaking of, I'm like super fucking happy we've got to do this chat, man. I'll probably round it off in a minute or two.
Sure.
I'm going to sign off, but we'll probably have another little chat for 2 minutes after I hit stop record, though.
Yeah, sure.
But no, man, thank you so much for doing the CHRISTWVRKS podcast with us. And Jamie wasn't here today. You've had to deal with me, myself, and Irene. But we'll definitely do it again. And you got whatever you want to plug. I know you've got your radio show on the 16th.
Yeah, no, July 30th, actually. It's in 30th with the
Okay, sorry.
So I'll be the DJ from, I think it's, I forgot, 8 p.m. EST, or 11 a.m. EST, sorry. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be playing songs of what I like, and I'm talking about stupid stuff. Please join me, yes. Yeah,
so we'll stick a link in the comment box, and we'll give it all a good share and everything. And to anyone who doesn't know who Chepang are by this point, well, you're a fucking idiot, and you need to go listen to the album.
Yes, thanks, man.
Go listen to Chatta, go listen to Barriga de Verm, go listen to the Deo,
Yeah,
go listen to the first release, and make sure you're keeping up with them on all
and the
social
latest
media.
live record that we put out. So
Yes,
yes,
sorry, yeah, the live recording. And
yeah.
I know you've got a split coming up with a band. Can we say who they are, or are you waiting to announce that?
Yeah, that's fine. We can say we're putting out a split with our favorite band, Yaoja. Yaoja, people know them. So soon.
Again, another band that do everything exactly the right way. The music that
Yep,
gives you the pimples in the back of your neck, and they're just
exactly.
they're just savage, dirty, sludge, grind, hard,
Yeah,
shoegazy in
gnarly,
parts, gnarly. It's
gnarly.
completely
Yeah,
like a
super gnarly.
like a really nasty fingernail you can't quite get rid of.
Exactly. Yeah, they got a new record coming out, LP as well. I think at the end of the year, but our split should be out by September soon. So yeah. We're putting it ourselves again. We're printing. We're doing all the productions. We're pressings, artwork, everything. So
It's the best way,
yeah,
man. I think the more the more chances people take on their own art, the more beneficial it's going to be for everybody involved. And whether
correct.
that's from our side of things over here with us trying to sell T-shirts and put out disgusting music and podcasts with people we love, to you guys over there just basically rebranding and reinventing extreme metal to your own definition of it. So again,
Yeah,
man, thank you so much for coming on.
no worries.
Take care.
You too.